something which is a trek for me if I'm a beginner could be a hike for you if you're an experienced individual. I saw my first snowfall in my skiing course when I was 25 years old. But why are outdoorsy idols not shepherds who don't wear any branded clothes but they spend 3 months on a slope? There will be people whom you meet who will take away things from you. There'll be people who will come support you, who will add things to you. So these are distributaries and tributaries. We just need a system that tells us where is this enough outdoors at my level, where's the hike which I can do at my level.
हेलो जी, वेलकम बैक टू इलाइट ट्रैवल्स पॉडकास्ट। आपका स्वागत है हमारे एक और नए धमाकेदार एपिसोड में। और आज के हमारे स्पेशल गेस्ट हैं मानव। मानव एक आउटडोर एजुकेटर हैं जो एस्पायरिंग ट्रैकर्स को ट्रैकिंग करने का सही तरीका सिखाते हैं। तो आइए शुरू करते हैं हमारा आज का स्पेशल एपिसोड विद नन अदर देन मानव। हाय मानव, वेलकम टू द शो।
हेलो, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर हैविंग मी।
सेम ब्रो। मैंने इसका नाम नहीं रखा, मैं बोलने वाला था वेलकम टू दिस शो, बट अभी तक वी आर फिगरिंग आउट द नेम। सो इफ यू हैव एनी सजेशंस फॉर द पॉडकास्ट दैट वी कैन, जो भी नाम रख सके, तो प्लीज लेट अस नो।
Sure.
ठीक है। ओके, सो फर्स्ट ऑफ, सिंस यू आर एन आउटडोर एजुकेटर, आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड हु इज एन आउटडोर एजुकेटर।
So outdoor education specifically, or an outdoor educator specifically, focuses on enjoying the outdoors but backing it with a lot of skill so that you have that confidence and you don't compromise with your safety in the wilderness.
सो इसको अगर सिंपली पुट करें तो एक अवेयर इंसान जो कि विल्डरनेस में जा रहा है।
Correct. Aware plus a very equipped insan also.
Got it.
Because skills will not just make you aware, but it will also equip you to do those things. Because there is something known as fear, right? And it's important to have fear. Fear saves your life. But at the same time, if you learn skills, then that fear, you'll be able to overcome that fear. So I can be aware that this thing is not for me, but I need to be skilled to know what do I need to do to enjoy this. Yeah.
Got it. And आपकी जर्नी कैसे शुरू हुई in this field?
So I'm 32 years old, and I was born and brought up in Jaipur, Rajasthan. And the first 25 years of my life, I did my schooling, college, everything was from Jaipur. So I did not go outside my city much. I had amazing friends in school. I used to play a lot different sports. So that was my space. That's what was everything to me. I never even thought of going out, what's travel and this and that. And then after that, when I shifted to Delhi for the preparation of civil services, UPSC वाला exam. So I was in Karol Bagh, I was in Rajendra Nagar. तब जब एग्ज़ाम्स के बीच में जो ब्रेक्स आते थे, so we used to save some money. The friends that I used to share room with, we used to go on small trips. These are road trips. We're driving a car, and then we are going to Rishikesh, Lansdowne, Manali. So that's when I saw the mountains for the first time. And then I realized that, is there a way that I can do it for life?
Okay.
There's nothing wrong in doing it.
Definitely.
There's nothing wrong in thinking that, can this be done for a longer duration? Can this be made sustainable in any way? And this is what diverted my attention from studies, and I started thinking, because I really loved outdoors, because I felt that it comes to me with a lot of ease, with a little bit of sports background that I had in my school days, helped me hike comfortably, and I used to enjoy all that experience. I never felt, okay, yes, I knew my limits, and I knew that, okay, this is not what I want to do. I'm super scared on jumping into the river. I don't know swimming. But at the same time, I enjoyed the forest trails. I enjoyed hiking up, getting down. So that's where it sort of kicked in. And then after that, I did a lot of introspection, I would say. I thought a lot. And then I said that, okay, I'm done with this exam preparation and I will switch. And that's when I came across the courses: basic mountaineering course, advanced mountaineering course, basic skiing course, basic advanced paragliding course. So that was my first introduction to these outdoors, where I felt that I'm a boy from plains. So let's do a course and check that. Right. I don't know whether I'll thrive in this mountain wala landscape, but let's see if we can at least survive. If I could survive itself, then we'll see. We'll take it from there, that how it goes. So this is how I entered into this field. It was just through these little road trips that I did.
Got it.
Yeah.
And BMC कहाँ से करा आपने? And how was that experience?
I did my basic mountaineering course in 2017, April 2017. It was from Jawahar Institute of Mountaineering and Winter Sports, Gym and WS from Kashmir, Pahalgam.
Kashmir, okay.
Pahalgam. I did it from there. It was an okay course. It was a good course, but I think I realized that if I'm not from the mountains, I can not only survive, I can rather thrive, because from being, since I'm from the plains, I can look at the mountains from a very opportunistic point of view.
True.
So if I'm born in the mountains, it may be, right? It's not like everybody thinks like this, but I have friends, or I've known people who are born and brought up in the mountains, and they feel, or they very rightly look at mountains as a lot of discomfort. यार हमारे यहाँ रोड्स नहीं है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं है, पानी नहीं है, स्कूल जाने के लिए 2 घंटा लगता है, आने में 2 घंटा लगता है. What you see as trail, what you see as elevation gain and fun was their daily routine, right? And that's why I saw that, oh, I am from the plains. I was blessed, or I am blessed to have all these basic amenities at my disposal. So I have a very sort of adventurous or recreational sort of an approach towards the mountains. That, hey, what's on the other side of this mountain? How do I figure out without climbing that what's on the other side? And how would that glacier look like? How is the whole landscape in winters? Because I saw my first snowfall in my skiing course when I was 25 years old. Because I'm from Rajasthan, there's no snowfall happening there. So I felt that this is, if I feel that since I'm from the plains, I'm so far away from that place, I was able to appreciate it more. So that's what BMC did for me. The basic mountaineering course for me was a workshop, a month-long workshop, where I understood the different elements, and then I can pick the element based on my comfort zone, that okay, this is what I would want to do. So it was a nice workshop to begin with. Since I didn't had any mentor, or there's no way to go, it's just like your first workshop. Get in and just see how is everything, and then you can pick your game whenever or wherever you feel like. So that was BMC for me.
And did it change your perspective towards what you were perceiving traveling or hiking or trekking is? या फिर it remained the same?
No. So I think travel was very clear, and then hiking was clear. The course, basically it says that it's mountaineering. It very clearly says that it has not much to do with trekking and hiking. So there are elements like glaciers and ice walls and moraines, which requires a lot of equipment and a lot of technique and knowledge and experience and trust, among the partners that you're climbing with. So it was very apt to the point that it's a mountaineering course. So I also never misunderstood it as a trekking course. So it's not a basic trekking course, it's a basic mountaineering course. And it just sort of widened the horizon, saying that yes, now I have a bigger sample space, and I know that in this whole hierarchy of landscape, when the landscape starts from a river, from a road, this is where you travel, and then when there are no roads, there are forests and then meadows, this is where you hike, and maybe moraines. And then when the landscape becomes more undulating, requires more skill, have a little smaller window, like you'll not have access to the glacier throughout the year.
Right.
This is where mountaineering would come in. So I think after doing the course, I rather had a very stratified classification of these adventures. Both that, okay, travel is what happens here, then hiking and trekking is what happens here, and then after that you can graduate to mountaineering. So I realized that basically to become a very good mountaineer, basic mountaineering course, I'm not ready. So I would rather do a lot of trekking and become a very good trekker first, and that would further help me become a better mountaineer.
Right. That brings me to this question, bro, जहाँ पे जब भी when we are training our team, या फिर we are selling a tour package to a customer, and we say, let's for example Kasol and Khirganga, very basic, and they are like कि इसमें hiking होगी या trekking होगी. तो कई बार we also don't understand the difference. मतलब मुझे पता है कि my definition is कि hiking is for day hike, right, जिसमें आप एक दिन में जाके वापस आ सकते हो, and trekking is for several days, right, from point A to point B. This is the simplest explanation that I can come with. But according to you, according to your knowledge and experience, what is the difference between the two?
Hiking, more or less, is basically a very gradual introduction where I'm carrying a day pack with me. I'll spend some hours in the wilderness, and at night I'll come back to the comfort of my house. Right? I'm not camping. Trekking is, I would say, a more demanding sort of an activity where I say that everything that I need to survive or rather thrive in the wilderness, I'll carry that on my shoulders. That includes my shelter in which I'll sleep, the food that I'll cook, the clothes that I'll wear at night when I'm not hiking, and then other things. Fuel that I would help me make some food, make some fire. I'll have to score some water. I have to arrange all those things. And I'll have to plan my days in advance. So basically, trekking is where you want to spend multiple days in the wilderness. And since we are not nocturnal beings, we would like to rest and recover at night for the next day's push. So this is the very basic understanding between hiking and trekking. But at the same time, I also feel that something which is a trek for me, if I'm a beginner, could be a hike for you if you're an experienced individual or if you're a trail runner, right? So a trek, suppose Khirgang, as you gave an example, or Triund, if I'm an absolute beginner, right? And I have some medical condition where I cannot put a lot of load on my knees. I would enjoy that outdoor trail to Triund and back or Khirganga in a 1 night, 2 day hike. Where I am not pushing my body to a limit where it is deteriorating the health of my body, and I'm actually enjoying the outdoors. If I try to do it in a day, I may not enjoy it. Right. I'll end up with a knee pain. Next day I'll sleep. I'll have my whole body sore. So I strongly believe that outdoors has to be very comfortable, as comfortable as indoors, so that we experience it often. This is the foundation that I work on. So a hike like Triund, imagine if there is a 70-year-old fit couple and they would like to do it nice and slow. It is better that they do it in 2 days. It is better that they do it as a trek. And if you are someone who is a trail runner who is practicing for a 60-kilometer run, Triund could be your morning workout. So there's no need for us to judge nature that, okay, this is a hike, this is easy, this is moderate, this is medium. It is time that we actually sort of try and gauge our capabilities, and based on our capabilities figure out this is a hike, this is a trek for me, or this is an expedition for me. So all these things.
Cool. And मेरे दिमाग में 2-3 questions आ रहे हैं. Let me see कि मैं कौन सा पहले पूछूं. So okay, let me just start with, many people have this fear of trek whenever they hear कि ट्रैक होगा इसमें. बेसिकली जब हम बात करते हैं लोगों से फॉर द पैकेजेस एंड एवरीथिंग, दे आर लाइक इसमें ट्रैकिंग तो नहीं है. ठीक है. सो उसको कैसे ईज करा जाए, एंड व्हाई डू पीपल थिंक, बिकॉज आई पर्सनली फील कि they are not educated about it, that's why they have this fear, right? और अगर उनको बता दिया जाएगा कि don't worry, this is how it's going to be, this is what you need, and this is the preparation that you'll be needing from our and your end, आप उसको आराम से कर सकते हो.
Correct.
Right? But what do you think? Why people fear trekking? Is it about the health or the other issues? What is the point?
My understanding is that initially when I used to look at all the information about the treks, right? When I look at these pictures of a picture that explains how the trek is going to be, because you need pictures to show them how the landscape is. Most of the times you'll see pictures of the final place, the summit, or you'll see pictures of campsites. Right? Even if we look deep dive into the entertainment industry, you will not see a lot of discomfort or technicalities being shown. It is the joy that you experience in the outdoors when you're at the campsite. You know, the kind of clothes they wear. Because see, we pick idols from cinema, and we are also picking our outdoorsy idols from cinema, right? That's where, again, because of lack of outdoor education. So you cannot be, shirtless on a snow patch with a tent. It's not cool to drink beer and break the bottle, right? So I feel that, again, the lack of outdoor education. So I've set these things as my outdoorsy ideal. My outdoorsy ideal are also someone who is branded from top to bottom. You look at someone in a city, he's driving through a subway wearing the best of the jackets, feather jackets and boots. You think that he's a hiker. But why are outdoorsy ideals not shepherds who don't wear any branded clothes, but they spend 3 months on a slope? They encounter bears, they have 5,000 sheep with them, they have so much of knowledge. So I'm not saying that don't keep these branded clothing as your outdoorsy ideals, but it's important or hard time that we have a very diversified outdoorsy ideals, and then I'll pick my own outdoorsy ideal based on what activity I want to do. So now if I'm only looking at the beautiful campsites with a coffee mug and all that, this is what is motivating me to go on a hike. But now there's no info on how much effort or what kind of a skill is required to reach to that place. You'll not be dropped there, right? You have to walk up there. So now any responsible hiking company who is guiding people into the wilderness or into the outdoors would like to share this also. Would like to share what kind of fitness is required. Would like to share pictures of some technical sections. Where you see that, okay, there's a steep slope and you see that people have to put a little bit of effort, and then this question comes to a person's mind. Oh, so the campsite is beautiful, but then what about this section? Oh, this is where we have to trek, right? So camping in general, if you look at the activity of trekking basically means efficient walking. If you're walking on a road, you can do anything. You can talk with me, you can put your earphones on, you can talk to a friend, and you can still walk. But you cannot do it while hiking because the surface is undulating. So you just have to walk a little efficient. That's the baseline of trekking. That's all we need to do. Now, when we do this throughout the day, at night we need to sleep so that we can rest, we can recover, and we are not nocturnal, so anyhow we'll not see anything. So camping is a stage of hiking or trekking. Trekking is an activity and camping is a stage of it. But what if, because of lack of outdoor education, we just sell this as the package and then we don't talk about the major chunk which is out there? So this is what is leading people into asking questions like, oh, do I need to walk? And then you or someone else as a trip organizer or trek organizer is like, hey man, come on, like, how can this be even an FAQ?
Right.
This is a trek itinerary, so how are you not expecting to trek?
Point.
So that's it. So it has to come from both the ways. The people who are subscribing to these packages need to educate themselves, and at the same time the companies who are selling these packages need to be more moral, ethical, and they need to create more awareness out of it. And then we'll have a system where outdoor education would lead. We'll have less accidents in the road, and then this client to a service provider relationship will grow like with leaps and bounds.
काफ़ी अच्छी बात है, क्योंकि द एग्जाम्पल दैट यू गेव, जैसे कोई फेमस मूवी ले लेते हैं, जैसे रणवीर कपूर की ये जवानी है दीवानी, उसमें दे आर डूइंग अ पार्टी एंड ओवर अ बॉनफायर, कैंपिंग ऊपर, पर वो ट्रैकिंग वाला पार्ट सिर्फ थोड़ा सा दिखाया था जहाँ पे उसकी सांस फूलती है एवरीथिंग. सो जो लोग पहली बार वो एक्सपेक्टेशन ये रख के जाते हैं, जब वो जाते हैं तो उनको ये दिखता है कि अच्छा दिस इज द स्ट्रगल बिहाइंड इट, एंड द फियर सेट्स इन कि वो जब नेक्स्ट टाइम जाएंगे तो अरे भैया फिर ये सब करना पड़ेगा.
And then there's one more thing. I think that when we use the word struggle, so even that can be reduced by choosing the right season.
Right.
As a trek company, I need to be responsible that with season that I'm bringing people in, and then at the same time, if I can just tweak the technique in which they're walking, the way they are carrying their backpack and all of that, this is all part of outdoor education, and then outdoors will become comfortable. My only issue with all this sort of struggle with the outdoors, which gives us a very manly feeling that finally I pushed myself and I broke all boundaries, I was sweating like a pig, standing at the summit, huffing and puffing. I feel okay, that's great, not a problem with it. But I just feel that if you do that to a beginner, he or she will just get so scared that he or she will think that outdoors is not for
them.
me. So therefore I always say that outdoors has to be as comfortable as indoors, and if it's not, then there's something wrong with the system. It could be something wrong with the gear, it could be something wrong with the technique, the season, the trekking partner that you have chosen. Maybe you have overestimated your capabilities, maybe you have underestimated the landscape. So if you do things in a way where you have a very gradual introduction to this fear and struggle, that's what builds confidence, and you'll start falling in love with the outdoors. And then the word mother in mother nature will come back. You'll not see nature as a fury.
Right.
You've started seeing nature as a fury.
Right.
यहाँ जाओगे ये हो जाएगा, ये गिर जाएगा, मर जाओगे, जंगल में जाओगे भालू आ जाएगा, खा जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा. Nobody talks that अरे जाओ इस ट्रेल पे कोई नहीं जाता. You'll have the time of your life. You'll be able to introspect. ये हम तब कह पाएंगे when this person that you're sending into the wilderness, you have backed him or her with a lot of skills and information. Then कोई problem नहीं होगी. We don't say the same thing for roads, right?
Right.
Or don't go on a bike
Excellent.
there is a 32 tire car truck that will just roll over you. Because there's so much information, there's so many people doing it, so it seems absolutely possible to ride a cycle, a bike, an Activa, a LMV, or a big vehicle on the road.
And safe for the...
It's safe because we have built systems for it. So if we build the same systems here, and there's enough education on, similar to road safety, if there's outdoor safety, then we'll be able to enjoy the outdoors.
That's a really good thought. Matlab, now when I think of it, and I would like to give you this compliment, bro, ki you have a very good way of teaching people or explaining a certain topic, because I can understand each and everything that you are explaining it to me through example, and then you are coming back to the point of the question. So that's a very good thing.
Thank you.
I need to learn how to teach from you. Okay. Speaking of nature, I wanted to ask this question. So अभी कुछ टाइम पहले लास्ट पॉडकास्ट में ही, लास्ट नहीं काफ़ी टाइम हो गया, 1 महीना हो गया, वी वेंट टू जिम कॉर्बेट टू हैव दिस क्या कहते हैं एपिसोड डन विद युवराज भाई जो जिम कॉर्बेट में रहते हैं, एंड ही वॉज एक्सप्लेनिंग अबाउट टाइगर्स एंड एवरीथिंग. तो आई रिमेंबर दिस ड्राइव, जब मैं जा रहा था तो मेरे दोस्त आगे बैठे हुए थे, मैं पीछे था, एंड आई सॉ अ बंच ऑफ डियर्स पूरा वहाँ पे थे, एंड जैसी गाड़ी की तो ऑब्वियसली भाग गए, बट दैट स्प्लिट सेकेंड वो फोटोग्राफिक मेमोरी हो गई है. एंड आई फेल्ट, मतलब मैंने पहली बार मेरे को ऐसा लगा कि ओके, धरती पे इंसानों के अलावा क्योंकि मैंने देखे हैं डियर्स, बट डियर बाहर ऐसे कोई देख लिए या फिर किसी और जगह पे देख लिए तो ऐसा लगता था कि दे आर नॉट इन द राइट प्लेस. बट व्हेन वी वेंट टू जंगल, राइट, और जब जंगल के अंदर गए और वहाँ का देखा कि हम लोग विजिटर्स हैं यहाँ पे, तो वो कनेक्शन मुझे सम सॉर्ट ऑफ मिला वहाँ से, एंड आई स्टार्टेड लुकिंग नेचर एज इफ दे आर ट्रू नेबर्स. जो एनिमल्स हैं, दे आर नॉट समबडी जिनसे डरा जाए, ऑफ कोर्स, मतलब नॉट इन लिटल सेंस, बट अगर आप वैसे देखो तो इनसे डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. वी आर शेयरिंग द प्लैनेट विद देम, राइट. सो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस नेचर के साथ में वहाँ पे चेंज हुआ, मेरी थिंकिंग पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज हुआ. सो वॉज इट एवर हैपेंड विद यू दैट कि आप ट्रैक पे गए हैं, बिकॉज यू हैव डन अ लॉट ऑफ ट्रेल्स एंड ट्रैक्स एंड हाइकिंग, सो हाउ डिड योर relationship evolved with nature and spirituality in some sense?
Got it.
नमस्ते दोस्तों, रुकावट के लिए खेद है, बट आई थिंक एक छोटा सा परिचय तो बनता है कि व्हाट इलाही ट्रैवल्स इज़. सो बेसिकली इलाही ट्रैवल एक सस्टेनेबल ट्रैवल कम्युनिटी है जो अपने ट्रैवलर्स के लिए ट्रिप प्लान करती है, चाहे वो सोलो ट्रैवलर्स हों, ग्रुप में आ रहे हों, फैमिली हों या कॉर्पोरेट्स हों. इसी के साथ साथ हम हमारे ट्रैवलर्स के लिए जब उनकी ट्रिप कंप्लीट हो जाती है तो एक प्लांट लगाते हैं, सो दैट जो उनका कार्बन फुटप्रिंट है वो बैलेंस हो सके या मिनिमाइज हो सके. एंड वी हैव होस्टेड अबाउट 5,000 प्लस ट्रैवलर्स इन मोर देन 400 प्लस ट्रिप्स. सो इफ़ यू वांट टू बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ इलाही ट्रैवल्स, आप हमें फॉलो कर सकते हैं हमारे इंस्टाग्राम पेज पे, या फिर ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं हमारी यूट्यूब की कम्युनिटी बाय सब्सक्राइबिंग द चैनल एंड बीइंग अ लिसनर टू आवर पॉडकास्ट.
So for me, when I've hiked a lot, crossed many rivers, I feel like a river is such a beautiful element where it also sort of relates with how we as human beings grow. So initially a river is completely underneath a glacier, you can't see its pure origin. So that is where I feel that my character was built. When was it done? Was it done when I was in school, or when I was in college, or when I finally came to the outdoors, or it was the civil services that molded me? So when the river starts from the glacier, you can't see it, but it's there. Glacier is still a river of ice. There's less movement, but it's there, giving birth to something. And then in the initial phase, when you're young, you have so much of energy that, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. I'm from a very normal college from Jaipur, but I'll get a package which is 10 lakhs. You're far away from reality. But you want to move every rock which is on you, and you feel that I can just change the world. And this is me talking, right? I'm not saying that this is how everybody thinks, but this is who I am. So this is where, when the river starts flowing, there's a lot of rumble and trumble flowing through the boulders and moraines, creating a lot of noise and all that. And then dhire, when it comes of age, that is where you take those big leap of faiths. You start taking stand for yourself. This is what I want to do. You think this is better for me, but no, I think this is better for me, and I'll do this. This is where I feel that even the river takes a leap and becomes a waterfall. It seems very pretty, but it takes guts to take that leap of faith and then jump into it. And then with age, there will be people whom you meet who will take away things from you. There'll be people who will come support you, who will add things to you. So these are distributaries and tributaries. A river changes its characters. The color of the water changes as you grow, when different kind of people from different walks of life add their flavor to your life, add their experiences, and you let them in. And then there are people whom you let go. They take water away from you basically. And then finally, when you come very close to the shore, that's when you'll see that the river is very shant. There are no rapids, but there's a lot of depth in that river. It is still 125 meter deep. It was not that deep when it started, but then now with age, with a lot of wisdom and understanding and maturity, you can accommodate small waterfalls in you. You can also appreciate your younger version who is very excited to do something in the outdoors, and he's like, I'll do this, I'll do that, and you appreciate. You don't stop him. That nahi hoga. You'll be like, yeah, come on, do it. You can do it, no problem. And you know most of the times that you know where he or she could fail, and you support him. So this is my understanding of river as an element, how I relate to a river when it comes to my life. After that, when it comes to animals, you rightly said that when you found an animal in its own landscape, that's where you felt that, wow, this is how it should be, and you felt a connection. So when I had my first brown bear encounter, the first thought that came into my mind was that I've seen this guy only in pictures,
Right.
in my school book, and this is how it looks in real, and it is very different. And I was a little scared, and I was also a little happy. So I found him cute and dangerous at the same time. Same as with the river. You found it beautiful and scary at the same time, because you know that you cannot cross it. You'll be like swiped away if you get in there. But from a distance, it definitely looks great. So I'm not very fascinated about, I want to spot a leopard, I want to spot a bear. I don't think I'm that kind of a person. If I'm going into the wilderness, I feel that I'm entering someone's home. So if I can make my presence felt by making enough noise, I would rather have a smooth sail through that landscape. And this is also the reason why I do a lot of speed hiking. I camp only when it is absolutely necessary for me, because I still feel that I'm not taking permission from you to pitch a tent inside your house. And if you're a nocturnal being, I'm ruining your night basically. And you will not come and tell this to me. I have to acknowledge this on my own. So this is why I like hiking fast and camp only when it's necessary. Like camping for me is a stage of hiking. It's not a different experience altogether. But I won't judge beginners or people who would do camping, because I think I've done enough to say this, that it is for me now just a stage in trekking.
Okay. When you were explaining that example, जो रिवर वाला था,
हाँ.
मेरा माइंड बेंड हो गया. मतलब आई कुड सी अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स एंड अंडरस्टैंड अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. एक तो वो वाले पॉइंट जब आपने बताया कि लास्ट में जब सिर्फ एक जब शांत हो जाता है पानी, तो उसमें डेप्थ आ जाती है. एंड आई कुड सी द ओल्ड, मतलब जो लोग ओल्ड होते हैं, जो एजेड हो जाते हैं, दे आर शांत एंड दे हैव द अंडरस्टैंडिंग. यू शोड इट थ्रू द डेप्थ ऑफ द वाटर. मैंने कहा भाई ओके, दिस वाज, I want to go on a hike with you for sure someday. Okay. So you spoke about कि आपका encounter हुआ with the bear. So I want to know that story.
Okay. So I was staying in Manali, near the town of Vashisht, which is on the left bank of the Beas River. And it was me, a friend of mine, Izhar. His Instagram handle is Cycling Across India. Very nice guy. And way more experienced. Like when I started, he has already done things. He's cycled across India and stuff. So we were hiking to Brigu Lake, and we were going from Vashisht side, not from the Gulaba side of it. There's a steep climb up, and then we pitched our tent. We went to the lake, and it was all snow from, I guess, some 3,000 meters itself. The lake is at 4,100 meters. So we hiked through the snow, camped at this place called Panduropa. Next day we went to the lake. We came back, and now we are descending down. And we are going back home. So now since you're hiking in snow and you're descending down, so you're much faster, you create more noise, right? Your feet digs deeper into the snow, almost till the knee. You'll take your feet out, and then you're making a lot of noise, and you're also excited, like ooh and all that. And I think this was 2019, more or less. And then as we were getting very close to the tree line, now in the forest, so which is below 3,500 meters, and so we're getting down, and there then Izhar is behind me, and then I saw the footprints of, or the marks of the paw of the bear, and they were in our direction, and it's easy to spot them in snow.
Okay.
Because they'll make these impressions as they walk. So I stopped there. They were 2 feet away from me, the impressions, and you'll see that those impressions are formed towards me, and then I'm like, where did they go? So I was actually coming straight head on with the bear.
Okay.
But then since we were making a lot of noise, we were making our presence felt, they changed their path. Now they changed their path, and I could see the paws going this way. So I was just here, just ensuring that yes, these do look like, bear paws. And then I turned, and at 50 meters, I could see 2 bears, maybe some 3 feet tall, and they were just climbing up the hill. And I still remember that guy's bum shaking in a very cute way, hiking up the slope. So this is where I was in awe, and like, oh, wow. So wow was the first thing that came, because obviously he was not facing me. I think that could also be that could also be this. If I would have seen his nose and face and fur and ears, I would have panicked. So that was the day when I had the learning that if things are done in a right manner, animals have zero interests in our life. They have no interest in our life. Until unless I'm cooking mutton or chicken at a campsite, telling everybody in a meadow that there's something that's cooking. So if
Here's the party.
So if I follow the principles rightly, and if I follow leave no trace, if I try to minimize my ecological footprint, if I try to make my presence felt, and then I think I can have a very sort of a healthy interaction with or maybe little to no interaction with the wildlife at all, to be honest. Because when you're telling them that you're coming from far away, they know what they need to do, where they need to go.
कोई ऐसा हुआ है near death experience with the animals?
No. So the second time I spotted a bear when I was running a 7-day long course where I teach how to do independent hiking, and we were in the Pyang Niru Valley. So every course I go to these valleys which are less hiked. I am not someone that even in a course I would want to go to different places. Just to make my operations easy, I'll not take people, or I'll not assign tasks to people in the same valley. So we were in this Pyang Niru Valley, which is very close to Sethan. And
this is near Manali?
This is again near it is again near Manali. And then we were walking, we were doing a snow module, so it was snowing, and far away on a rocky cliff we could see a big bear running. It was pretty far away, but the point is that I still cannot comprehend how big that guy was, because from so far away of a distance he was looking this huge. We were able to spot it. It was the size of boulders. And then if it would have come just 3 feet near you, I don't know, like, where would he, if he stands tall, how big he would be. And all of us saw it. And I was surprised that he looks very, bulky and heavy. But then with the ease that he was walking, with his shoulders moving and all, it was very beautiful. And we all were not scared, obviously, because of the distance. It was so far away. But again, we were just awestruck. And at that time, you just freeze. You don't think that I should take out my camera, do something. You're just, you're just keeping your eyes on, because you know that it's going to disappear in 5 seconds. So that's your time to watch it and see how it looks. So until now, absolutely not even near death. There's no even near deterrence experience, to be very honest.
अभी आपने एक बात बोली थी कि हम लोग we should let the animals be, मतलब जैसे वो हैं, let them be, don't interrupt with them. I am reading a book which is called Man Eaters of Kumaon by Jim Corbett. ठीक है, and उसमें it's a document of all the man eaters in the Kumaon region, right? तो उसमें जिन को भी जो भी शेर या जो भी leopards man eater बने, जब उनको पकड़ा जाता था या जब हंट किया जाता था, तो हमेशा ये रीज़न निकलता था मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम कि कभी किसी के दांत घिस गए हैं, तो दे आर नॉट एबल टू हंट देयर नेचुरल प्रे, राइट? तो इसी चक्कर में दे यूज टू गेट टू द ह्यूमंस बिकॉज दे आर ईजिली टारगेटेड. तो ये सब रीज़न निकलते. तो आई कुड कनेक्ट विद दैट कि जितना हम लोग चाहते हैं कि हम लोग एनिमल से इनकाउंटर ना करें, उतना जानवर भी चाहता है कि वो भी इंसानों से encounter ना करे.
Correct.
Good. Okay. I want to know कि if somebody who is a beginner in trekking and hiking, so where should they start?
They should have a process-oriented approach, not a goal-oriented approach. What is a goal-oriented approach? A goal-oriented approach is where I know when I'm free. Based on my office, studies, whatever it is, I know these are the holidays that I have. I know that, right? Now I try to fit in the landscape there. Most of the people in our country will get holidays during December last week, right? Christmas. And I've seen Hum Tapas video and I want to do Hum Tapas. You're trying to fit a landscape in your holidays, which will never work, right? Because we never studied, or again, lack of outdoor education, we never know that Hum Tapas, and just an example,
Right.
that this trail is not accessible in December most of the times, right? And if I go there, and if somebody just says that, oh yeah, come on, I'll take you, I'll go there, I'll be in deep snow in the first 3 kilometers, and then I will myself say that, oh, this is not safe. But then when you come back, you also have to get a closure that it was a good trip. So you'll say that, oh, we pushed our limits and we did this much, it was such a nice experience. But nobody is questioning that you chose the wrong season. You could have utilized your time, you would have saved money, you would have saved money on gear. Because December you could have picked a hike where you need no snow pants, no boots, no gaiters, nothing. Because now what are these equipments doing lying in your cupboard? Nothing. So when we do a very goal-oriented approach, we do a simple mistake of overestimating ourselves and underestimating the nature. Now, if we try and fit the holidays with respect to the landscape, that's when you'll have a very good experience in the outdoors. In order to do that, you need to have outdoor education. In order to do that, you need to understand the process. So I call it the 5 stages of DIY hiking, and you can apply it in any field. You can also apply it in guided treks, right? Okay. And this is sort of these stages which if you do in a chronological order, first, then second, then third, then fourth, then fifth, you'll be able to enjoy hiking as a beginner, and you'll also move on very comfortably to the advanced level. The first level is a day hike. Start with doing day hikes. There are so many things that can be addressed doing a day hike. Is my shoe good? Do I have enough ankle strength? How does it feel when it rains? Is my raincoat good enough? How cold do my hands or feet go? How numb do my hands and feet go when it starts raining? Am I more susceptible to cold or less susceptible to cold? Because I'm hiking with you, you feel okay, but I'm feeling cold. So this is a learning for me. And then I know how to stick to a trail. I understand elements like how does it like to cross a small stream, walk in a forest, reach a meadow. So through day hikes, what I'm trying to do is trying to get very comfortable with particular skills. Learning how not to slip and fall, learning the techniques on how to hike up, hike down, what's my pace when it comes to a hike, how much elevation gain can I do in a day. All of this can be learned in the day. There's no need to camp. Then there's no need to invest money. You don't need a tent, sleeping bag, mattress, nothing. And you can start with a 2-hour hike in the outdoors. You can do it with your office. If you can work from hills, start at breakfast, come back by lunch, start here. So that little bit of pain that you have in your muscles and soreness, that can be addressed using basic strength training. So you're not prone to injuries. So this is stage number 1, where you are doing day hikes. Stage number 2 is where you are doing day hikes, but you are progressing in a landscape. You're not coming back to the same spot. So these are called tea house treks or homestay treks.
Tea house treks, okay.
Which is basically in Nepal, where you don't have to carry tents and mat with you. You can hike for 10-20 kilometers and then you'll have a house where you pay and stay. You can do homestay. Yeah, you can do the same thing in Ladakh. They have a fixed price, 1,500 rupees for stay for the night, dinner, and next day's breakfast. You'll have network, you'll sleep at the comfort of a house. Even if it rains, it's fine. During the day, you can have one pair being soaked and wet. You'll understand, oh, what mistake did I do? Oh man, I wore a cotton t-shirt this time. So see, you're not afraid. And imagine this happening on a base camp of a hike like Kangyatse, which you picked as your first trek. So this will help you have a gradual introduction to the fear. You'll learn, and that fear, you will back it with skills. That's how it will transform into confidence. Stage 1, day hikes. Stage 2, day hikes with tea houses or homestay treks. Now you have learned enough in how to enjoy the outdoors or wilderness during the daytime, right?
The basics of it.
The basics of it. Now comes spending a night. So now when you have to spend a night, the stage 3, I call it camping, where you don't hike and camp, you just camp.
Okay.
How can you do that? You have your house, you have a lawn. You have a homestay, there is a lawn. You're staying in a local place, they have farms. Right adjacent to the house, pitch your tent. Just pitch your tent and sleep. If you feel claustrophobic, open the zip, get into the house and sleep. We'll see next day what's the problem.
Right.
But do not carry the backpack, hike for 10 kilometers and then camp. No, treat camping very separately. See, if you're someone, if I could just roll my jacket and make a pillow, but at that night I didn't sleep comfortably, next day I have a little pain in my neck. So maybe I am someone who needs a lightweight inflatable pillow to make outdoors comfortable for myself. There's no need to subscribe to that, oh, this is extra weight, this and that. If you feel more cold, see what kind of socks work for you. Try and learn how to make fire. Try and learn how to pitch the tent rightly. Even if it rains or pours, and if you pitch the tent wrong, you still have a house to get into. So it's a very comfortable introduction where you have a place where you can fall back to. So therefore, this stage number 3, only camping, is very, very important. Try to feel homely in that little structure that you have pitched.
Comfortable in that structure.
Comfortable in that structure, because when you're so you have been comfortable through the day, and now we just want to focus on being comfortable through the night. How easy or difficult for you is it to just wake up at 3 a.m. and go out and answer your nature call? How scared do you feel? How does it feel when a dog comes near your campsite and you imagine it to be a bear? It's still a dog. But if you experience that fear adjacent to a house, you'll still be able to handle it well the next time. So stage 3 is pure camping. Don't hike and camp, just camp, and do it enough. You can also drive a car. Drive a car, pitch your tent, I'm going for camping. Very, very clear. Then stage number 4 is when you do your first overnight camp. You have to do a trek where you're camping for 1 night and hiking for 2 days. So you hike through the day, camp, and next day you hike and reach the roadhead or basically any homestay, or you end your hike. When you're camping for just 1 night, then you don't need to cook. You can just take packed food. So here we are not learning cooking. We are just doing a small demo where I would want to spend a whole night in the wilderness. You can pick a slope where there's network. You're still far away from the village, but you can see the village light and there's still network. So you're safe. If you feel alone, you can still do a video call to your friend. That, hey man, I'm a little scared and I don't think I'll fall asleep. It's just 7 p.m. There's nothing much to do. Can you just talk to me for an hour? I have a power bank, don't worry. I have enough, charge for my phone. So these are small, simple, commonsensical ways through which you can have a very gradual introduction to the outdoors. And that's how you'll start loving the outdoors. And the last stage is where you repeat the 4th stage n number of times, where you start going on 2-night treks and 3 nights and 4 nights and 5 nights and 10 nights. So this is, I call it as a small little 5 stages of DIY hiking, or any hiking in general, where you start with day hike, come back to the home, do day hikes, but then keep progressing and stay in tea houses and homestays. 3rd is purely camping. 3rd is your first overnight camp, a 1 night, 2 days trek. And then the last one is where you replicate it as much as you want. So this is my suggestion. But as you see, this is a very process oriented approach. I cannot have that, okay, so I'll do Hamta Pass as a day hike. No, won't work. So backed with a little bit of outdoor education again, you can have a very gradual introduction. Now you'll start thinking, oh, what are the day hikes? What are the safe camp spots where I can go camp? And you'll try to figure out these things and you'll graduate to a level where you'll be able to enjoy the view. And for that, maybe you don't have to travel to Himalayas all the time. You can find this spot in your backyard also.
Right. जैसे दिल्ली में Aravali है, people can go for the day hikes.
And this you can do with your friends and family, because since it is gradual for you, it's gradual for them too. So this is where outdoors become a very it's a very holistic approach, and it's a very inclusive approach. Yes, like I have a dream that in our country we should have wheelchair accessible trails. How will that happen? Outdoors should not be just for the fit people who have hiking poles, small backpacks, chiseled body. No, it's for everybody. So through these steps, through looking at outdoors as a very inclusive or a very gradual introduction, you can have it very, very inclusive. That's when our kids at the age of 3 and 4 will feel comfortable in the outdoors. That's when our elderlies at 70 and 85
Can enjoy the
can
outdoors.
enjoy the outdoors. And then we'll say that outdoors is for everyone. Fitness is crucial, yes, but at your present fitness levels, there's enough outdoors. We just need a system that tells us where is this enough outdoors at my level, where's the hike, which I can do at my level.
Now I can see the need for outdoor education.
Yeah.
Because अगर हम भी ट्रैवल करते हैं जितने भी दोस्त हैं, सो वी आर लाइक वी टेक अ प्राइड इन दिस जब हम कहते हैं कि वी आर स्पॉन्टेनियस ट्रैवलर्स. हम कभी भी बस गाड़ी उठाई या फिर कभी बस ले ली फिर पहुंच गए. दैट इज ओके.
Yeah.
बट देन if it's not the right time and if you are not correctly prepared, you are compromising on the quality of the experience that you are going to get,
Correct.
right? Because on the other hand, if you planned it nicely and then executed, तो आपका जो output निकलेगा, जो experience निकलेगा, उसकी जो quality होगी, that will be on a different level.
Correct.
और Manav, I think you can make that person curious enough
Yes.
to, अगर आपने किसी की क्यूरियोसिटी को जगा दिया, इग्नाइट कर दिया, तो यू हैव डन योर बिट. अब वो वहाँ से खुद करना शुरू कर देगा. राइट.
So that's
This brings me to the question, what do you think a company like us or other companies, the travel companies or trekking companies, organizations need to adapt in their organizations to make the experience of the customer or the trekker or a traveler better?
When you pick a trail or a travel itinerary and you become good at it, that becomes your forte, and you'll not lose it. Obviously, you'll not leave it. You'll not keep switching to unexplored trails. You'll not be like, oh, we have ran 3 trips to Spiti and now we'll not do Spiti. No, you would rather do Spiti because everything is sorted. Now in the third turn, you found better homestays, better travel guide, better tempo traveler, better agents to book tickets and everything. So everything is in place. The system is in place. This is where the operations have become efficient and you'll earn good money out of it. You would want to replicate this model at other
To other
places.
destinations, yes.
Now, what I have felt or have seen is that when we try to scale this up, right, our agenda is that, okay, I would love to fill the batch. 10, 15 people, right?
True.
Fill the batch. Now, when I used to organize trips, I was in Hyderabad and I did it for 2 years, organized some 50, 60 trips.
Oh, wow.
And these are travel trips. 70% of them are travel trips, 30% of them are hiking trips.
Okay.
Travel trips to Meghalaya, Bhutan, all these places.
Achha.
Kerala, Karnataka. Hiking trips were mostly to Maharashtra or major treks like Brahmatal, Roopkund in Uttarakhand.
Travel trips as in following the itinerary and everything?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
making the itinerary and I was taking people
got it.
along with me. I was the organizer. I was sorting out the tempo traveler guy, booking the tickets in the train and everything. So now I realize that when you have a feedback session at the end of the event, and where there's no more a client to a service provider relationship, it's more of a friend who has a little more experience in the outdoors and this person a little less experience in the outdoors, but they're very curious. That's when I felt that people will share stories, they'll share reasons why did they come on this trip, and these reasons are very personal to them, very important to them, and they are very diverse. Right? Now I'm able to realize that for me it was just another event. I did the same thing a week back. I did the same itinerary a week back, right? But for these 10-15 people, this is an experience of a lifetime, right? Okay, I have traveled a lot, so maybe I'll have an experience of a lifetime when I go to Maldives maybe, or Kilimanjaro. But for them, coming to Gokarna for those 2 days, will be a life-changing experience, right? When we scale up, I think we should not miss out on these things. We should not consider a person as a slot in a batch. We should still consider that person's personal experience, that it could be a life-changing experience for him or her. How would you ensure that when you scale up? Is the problem where I left the company, because I had no solution for that. Because when you scale up, that's when the emotion goes out. You cannot have like 5 organizers for a 20-member team. You cannot have a ratio of 4:1. You cannot have. It's not practically possible. So this is one thing which I still try and figure out solutions to. A major reason why I would never open a trek company. because I think that every person, trust me, I've made so many amazing friends while organizing these trips back in 2017, 2018. And when they shared things that, man, I just can't tell you how, how different I used to think before this trip and now after this trip.
Right.
It is great. And therefore, even as a travel company or a trek company, it's important that we train our trek leaders or trip leaders into outdoor leadership modules.
Yes.
What is outdoor leadership and how it needs to be done, and it's more on the educational part. So it really doesn't matter how many trips you have hosted.
Right.
The number doesn't matter, the number of hikes that you have done doesn't matter, the number of days you have traveled doesn't matter. It is just that how will you fine tune every experience, and you will be able to give that space. You don't have to treat somebody in a very special manner. You don't have to appease people. You still are leading people in the outdoors, but at the same time you have to make sure that you are giving them this space, that it is still for them an experience. It could be a potential experience of a lifetime, where you're enabling them and you're still scaling, you're able to still scale up your business. So I don't have an answer to this, but this
Right.
is a problem that I see at the surface, and I think the moment I'll find a sorted answer for this, I could start a company of my own.
This brings me to the we have faced, and मैंने इस बारे में बहुत सोचा है. The thing that you have just said कि किसी इंसान के लिए वो पहला एक्सपीरियंस है
Correct.
और वो बहुत स्पेशल एक्सपीरियंस है. हमारी जॉब में, हमारी इंडस्ट्री में चैलेंज ये है कि उस सेम लेवल ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस को बार बार मेंटेन करके उसके लिए स्पेशल बनाना, उस फ्रेशनेस के साथ देना कैसे आप करोगे, बिकॉज इट डज नॉट हैव एनी टेक्निकल थिंग जिससे वो बन जाएगा. यू हैव टू पुट द एनर्जी एंड द एफर्ट. एंड द पॉडकास्ट दैट वी डिड विद युवराज भाई एंड जिम कॉर्बेट, ही सेड द सेम थिंग. ही सेड कि मैं डेली जाता हूँ जंगल में,
Correct.
तो मैं फिर भी वो कोशिश करता हूँ कि मैं उस फ्रेशनेस के साथ बोलूँ, क्योंकि कस्टमर के लिए तो नया एक्सपीरियंस है. वो तो पहली बार टाइगर देख रहा है, कुछ देख रहा है,
Correct.
तो वो क्यूरियोसिटी वो सब आपको कभी कभार बनानी भी पड़ती है,
Correct.
बट वो रहती है. क्यों रहती है? क्योंकि इफ़ यू लव योर जॉब, then not only your customer or your traveler or the people traveling with you will feel special, but you yourself will not get bored. जैसे we have a team member called JD, जयदीप नाम है उनका. तो he has done hitchhiking all over India for about 2 years, and then he joined the company. एंड वो बंदा इतनी बार स्पीति जा चुका है बैचेस लेके कि, और हम पूछते भी हैं, मतलब वो उसकी हेल्थ डिटोरेट हो गई, बहुत सारी चीज़ें हो गई, बट ही इज़ लाइक मेरे को स्पीति जाना है दोबारा. एंड देयर हैज़ बीन अ सिंगल बैच ऑफ पीपल जिन्होंने बोला हो कि हमें अच्छा नहीं लगा विद जेडी. Everyone was like, it was a unique experience, it was a good experience, it was this. And when I asked JD, जब हम debrief करते हैं कि what do you do, and I remember this meeting, एक बार हम बात कर रहे थे, and I was like, bro, ऐसा आप क्या करते हो कि people are like so mad about you and the quality that you provide. He said, मुझे नहीं पता, I to just love my job. I love traveling. Simple answer was that. Right? But I understand कि at some point वो चीज़ डिमिनिश होती होगी विद टाइम, बट देन यू हैव टू रीथिंक, री-स्ट्रेटेजाइज, एंड देन दोबारा ट्राई सम अदर थिंग्स टू कीप फ्लोटिंग बेसिकली. बट हाँ, द अप्रोच दैट यू सेड कि यू डू नॉट नीड टू ट्रीट पीपल एज अ स्लॉट इन अ बैच, you need to treat people as people. This is the last segment of the podcast. Speaking of leadership, right, and skills, do you believe कि जैसे कोई भी cooking and coding or any other skill can be learned, वैसे ही traveling and hiking or trekking can also be learned?
Yeah, that is also the only way to go about it. So
Right.
we'll not master things in just one day. Even I'm someone who's not from the mountains, right? But it is an art that can be learned, and it also gives you enough space to be creative and create your own understandings and things. The thing that we don't have outdoor education in place in our country also gives our generation an opportunity to be very creative with what suits our country, and we all together as a community build our own curriculum that works for our country. So yes, it is something that can be learned by doing.
And what if in the future the governments take this take this decision कि we will incorporate outdoor education into the syllabus. So what do you think कि how will it change the children in this early age, and what kind of a leaders we'll be having?
I think first of all the individuals will have more time. They'll have more time. Like I started my journey when I was 25, 26 years old. I could have started thinking in a very single-minded directional sense when I was 6, 7 years old, if that would have been the case. And if ecological footprint, leave no trace, and all this is also included in the curriculum, whatever business you would pick up, even if it is not related to the outdoors, you would try and strike a balance to work in coherence with the nature.
I have seen this pattern that आज की डेट में काफ़ी सारे लोग, काफ़ी सारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और द पीपल स्पेशली आफ्टर कोविड जब सब लोग रिमोटली काम कर रहे हैं, सम कंपनीज, सो दीज आर एक क्वेश्चन है, बस में 2 क्वेश्चन है.
ठीक है.
तो बेसिकली पहला सवाल ये है कि हाउ डज ट्रैकिंग एंड हाइकिंग इन जनरल ट्रैवलिंग changes you as a person and why everyone should travel. Second question is कि do you think if we or corporates travel more in teams, so it will help them create stronger teams?
Outdoors just make us dependent on each other. We see each other as human resource, but not for my own benefit, but for the benefit of all of us as a whole.
जब मैं डीकैथलॉन वाला पॉडकास्ट देख रहा था ना, उसमें जो होस्ट थे वो बोलती हैं कि मेरा मन कर रहा है और बात करूं. सेम चीज़ मेरे साथ हो रही है कि टॉपिक्स आर नॉट गोइंग टू एंड, बट ठीक है. दिस इज वन ऑफ माई लास्ट क्वेश्चंस, एंड दैट इज द elephant in the room ki how can an outdoor leader make money?
First of all, I'll also try and address the mistake that most of the people do. When we are in school, we study for 12 years more or less.
Right.
Then you go to a college, you do a degree which is for like 3-4 years minimum, and then you think that I deserve a job now. Am I right here?
Right.
Are you with me?
Right.
Okay. So how many years did you give before you thought that I'll start earning? Close to 15 years, 16 years, right? Now, the moment I come into the outdoors, why do I want to earn money in the next 3 months? Biggest problem, right? Stop thinking about earning money because you don't have the required skill set. You're yourself exploring, right? So do not put a lot of pressure on yourself of earning money with the get-go. And I'm also not saying that take 15 years. No, it will not take you 15 years because you're already into a mold. You're a full-grown human being and you have your own ideologies. You have a sense of how you would want to take things ahead as a career. So see, the moment you decide that I'll try to figure out things, please understand your time is precious, more precious than your years, because in other fields you have a conventional path. If you want to become XYZ, a lawyer or something, you can do few degrees, you'll become a lawyer. Here, there's no conventional path.
True.
Right? Doing BMC, becoming a trek leader will not suffice. So if there is no conventional path, that's why this time is more so important. So in the first 2 years or 3 years, drastically reduce your expenditure. Try to figure out ways how you can reduce your expenses. This is what I've worked for me, that I would pick hiking as a hobby because hiking was also the sport which had no entry barrier. If I need to do cycling, I need a cycle. If I need to do ski, I need skis, right? Paragliding, mountaineering, a lot of equipment. Hiking, I don't need anything. Maybe a good pair of shoes, that's all. More or less, the clothing is fine and I can just start hiking. Now, I realized that it's my hobby. I did it for 1 or 2 years to make sure that it is my interest. I'm very interested in this. It's not just a hobby for me now. And then doing it for 1 or 2 more years, I realized that I'm passionate about it. I would love if other people also do it and if I could help them do it, because I feel a lot of joy, not only hiking, I feel joy when I see other people hiking too. So I'm really passionate about this. It is beyond me. It is more than me, right? And then to fuel this passion, it is my moral responsibility to make sure that this passion translates to profit. If it doesn't translate to profit, then I'll burn. So hobby, interest, passion, profit. You have a very clear agenda.
I was watching this podcast of Nawal Ravikant, wherein he says ki जो यूनिक चीज़ें होती है ना वो सिंपल चीज़ें होती हैं. एंड टुडे हैविंग दिस कॉन्वर्जेशन विद यू has brought up many unique things to me in a very simple way. मतलब जो if I can recall the entire conversation, वो पानी वाला example, right? And ये वाला जो hobbies, interest और वो वाला जो framework है, it is very practical, very easily understandable to a 5-year-old also, right? So you have a lot of insights, right? You have a lot of insights and damn. So ये सब insight because of traveling, because of hiking, or because of introspection, or what?
No, it's basically
or
all...
UPSC.
I think UPSC nudged me on that behalf, that I was able to look at things from that angle. Definitely that sort of that comes from there for sure.
Right.
For sure. But then at the same time, I think I realized that if I get into a problem, or if I get into if I face a challenge, initially maybe I was a person who's like, hey man, why again there's a challenge? I just solved something for myself. Again I'm into something. I'm again stuck here. And then I'll moan over it for 2 days. And then on day 3, I start finding solutions. So now I've reduced this gap. The moment challenge comes, first of all, I accept it. It. That it's there. It's not going to go until you find a solution for it. So let's find solutions for it. And then I also feel that there's also motivation, because now there's this community that I've met amazing people, and there's such a beautiful community, Insta, YouTube, and the community that I run, that I also feel that these challenges are also very common. So if one person solves it, and if it trickles down, you're basically solving 100 challenges. So that's also a motivation. But I think it's mostly through analysis. I do my own analysis, and then I share it with my friends, and they'll hold a mirror in front of me. That, okay, this is what you're saying, but this is what it seems like based on your actions. And there's a gap in between your words and actions. And then I try to match it up. Because though I feel that my words and actions are matching all the time, you need those people around you who can hold a mirror in front of you. Right. Who's like, okay, if you meant this, then why are you taking this step?
Right.
I have something in my head. I have somehow linked them. But when somebody else tells you, because he or she is standing outside this frame, they can pinpoint it very clearly. But then it's also your intelligence or understanding whom to ask.
True.
That is also a thing. But touch wood, I'm blessed with amazing people around me, amazing friends who keep me at bay, that okay, yeah, this would work, this wouldn't work. And I think it's through analysis mostly. And now, since there is community, I ask them only directly. Do you think we should work on this?
Right.
And they're like, no, what is this? We don't even need this. We need this. This is the priority.
Okay. Any advice or some words to our audience who is watching this currently before we close the podcast of today? Or also where they can find you?
Above all of this, right now I'm working towards building a very functional online DIY hiking community. It's on the URL credas.in, and that basically addresses all the problems or all the challenges which are related to hiking in general. If you want to find a trek buddy, if you want to learn how to map, if you want to just learn a road map, like those 5 stages that I've told you is one small thing out of the big road map that we are trying to build, that how to go about hiking, and each and every point is being shared in great detail, where you can equip yourself or learn yourself.
Any last advice for the audience?
No advice as such, because I think all the audience would be very diverse. Everybody would have different interests. But all I want to say is that, first of all, I enjoyed the conversation.
Same here, bhai.
So thanks for having me on this podcast. Thank you, all of you, for giving all your time and the patience to listen to us. And again, see, for us, maybe it's an hour, but if suppose 500 people watch it, it's 500 hours. Right. So I hope that we have seen this not as an hour, but maybe thousands of hours of watch time, where we are not wasting anybody's time. We are not beating around the bush. And I think outdoors is a great space. Outdoor education has great, numerous, infinite possibilities for us to build careers in this field. And if there's anything that I could help ease your journey, I am there. That's all.
Yeah. Manav, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time
you.
and effort. Thank you so much. We loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.